What's going on, guys? Trevor here with the Tackle Shack out here on this beautiful day. I think it's about 25 degrees, not sunny at all, and it's probably blowing about 15 miles an hour. Many of you are asking, why are we on the lake on a day like this? Well, normally we'd be out fishing, but today we're gonna do a little fishing, and mainly it's to highlight what's up on the front deck there. So on the front deck of the boat, we have a highly anticipated product. It is Mega Live 2 with the all-new Humminbird Explorer unit. So we're gonna take a second and we're gonna give you a breakdown of what does this look like on a local lake with local guys you know, side by side next to the LVS 34 from Garmin. I know you guys know most of the general facts about it, but as far as like a breakdown on, hey, I want to see some guys that I know on one of these lakes that I'm familiar with, what does it actually look like side by side? So here at the Tackle Shack, we're going to give it to you today. We're willing to brave the weather for you guys, give you guys that honest breakdown before the ice rolls in. Fish on. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys, we are live out here on the lake, local lake here to northern Indiana, and we're going to give you a quick breakdown of Mega Live 2 versus the Garmin LiveScope LVS 34. Let's check it out. So we've been on the lake for maybe a half hour now, just tinkering with these two graphs, kind of comparing them. We've got the settings for the LVS 34 dialed in, but this is literally the first time on the water for either of us with this Mega Live 2. And let me tell you, I'm flat out impressed. I was frankly a little nervous with the Mega Live, the initial first release. I think full disclosure, full honesty, comparing it to the LVS 32, the LVS 34, it was just, it wasn't there. It was not there. When we dropped this thing in the water, I was floored. I mean, it is really come a long way. It's got that wow factor. It is comparable and honestly better in a couple circumstances I can see right off the bat than the LVS 34. But for all the Humminbird guys there, man, what a jump from that original Mega Live to this Mega Live 2. It is really good. So let's turn the camera over here, take a look at it. So right off the bat, you can see initially the target separation is really good. We don't have nearly as much static as what we were working with. And the little static that you do see is actually from the LVS 34 transducer. So that's the only thing here. We have these transducers about an inch, maybe 2 inches apart, and this is all the static you see, just a little tiny bit. And we've already tested it to where when we turn off that LVS 34, that static goes away immediately, which I can show you guys here. So I just turned the transmit off on that LVS 34 transducer, and it totally cleared up those little lightning bolts that you are kind of used to seeing if you've been running the Mega Live, the initial release of it. And here I'll turn it back on just so you can see that. So really not that bad as far as interference goes. And if obviously not many people are going to be running the setup we're running today with the dual transducers there off of a pole mount. So interference is something that you really should not have to worry about too much. Go back right here. So we're kind of just sitting on a break line. There's a few fish kind of intermingled with that grass. You can see it pretty clearly. We'll go over some of the color palettes that you have to choose from, which is another praise that I have for the Mega Live 2 is, my goodness, just lots and lots and lots of options here. And you do notice some differences right off the bat when you switch through them. Some are going to work better in grass, some are going to work worse. There's kind of the classic amber. They're calling it motor oil. Actually, there's another version of amber. So whatever situation you guys find yourselves in, you know, there's a color palette that can kind of help maximize it, kind of get a little bit better definition. As far as settings go, they have their sensitivity down here, which is on-screen control. That's basically what Garmin calls gain. They call sensitivity. Same effect though. So if we turn it all the way up, it gets a little bit blurrier, a little bit more beam coming there. And we turn it all the way down. My fingers are so cold, they're hardly working on the screen right now, so forgive me for that, guys. Turn it all the way down, you're losing that detail. But we found so far just a little bit above medium, in that 12 to 15 range seems to be good. I use the same rule of thumb that I use on the Garmin's. I want a little bit of that static and a little bit of clutter without it getting to be blown out. Your contrast just helps make those colors either pop or get a little bit more distortion in there. But so far we've been running that pretty high. And then your dynamic contrast, from what I've seen, it seems to be very similar to Garmin's noise reject. So when we turn that up really high, it kind of just defines everything versus, we have it off, it's all staticky, we turn it high. That kind of trims everything up. Same thing with this. We turn our dynamic contrast low, it gets a little blurrier. High, it just kind of sharpens and defines everything a little bit better. I think my favorite color palette with this first half hour of working with this is probably going to be the Doppler, maybe the Parrot. Really, the theme is similar to what I like with Garmin, though, is when you scan and scroll around, your targets will kind of go from one color to another. So they go from that really defined red color and they kind of transition to a little bit lighter. If we had some floating fish, you'd be able to see it better. But we're working with what we got, with it being 25 degrees and January 2nd here. So not ideal conditions to be out on the water, but hey, we're doing it for you guys. We're trying to get you an honest breakdown on these things. So something we've been anticipating for a long time, and we're really excited to actually be able to get hands on this and see what it looks like in real life, because everybody talking about it, from pros to reps, whatever, that's one thing, but to see guys that out on the water using it, that's totally different. And frankly, I'm floored as of right now. So we're sitting at 90 feet, which again, with the Mega Live, the original, you were stretching it at 60 feet, 70 feet. To go out to 90 is crazy. And honestly, we have not seen how far we can stretch it. I'm actually going to turn this off just to cut as much interference as we can. So there we're out to 130. Let's pan around a little bit. Turn that up. I'm finding that you can run your sensitivity quite a bit higher. You can run it up pretty well 100%. And it's solid. Let's turn the Garmin back on. It's that 120 range. We'll see what Garmin looks like up here. Really noticing the same things. Once we get out to that 100, 120 range, it is starting to fizzle a little bit. I think if you did a little bit more tuning, or you're in an open water situation, you could get some serious clarity out at long distance. So yeah, once we hit some actual hard cover, it is popping really well. And if you want to just hold it there, Brendan, and then maybe just show this one versus that one. There's the Garmin LVS 34. There is a Mega Live 2, and it is good. Man, very comparable. The other thing you might have noticed right off the bat there, if you're not familiar with the Explorer series, is that I've been using touchscreen controls on a Humminbird that is not the Solix or the Apex. So this Humminbird Explorer, which is at a comparable price point to everything else on the market, the Echo Map series, some of Lowrance's, like standard fishing units, and the old Helix series, it is touchscreen. So that's just a massive, massive benefit. You can quickly jump around. You can get to where you need to go in a way faster fashion. We can go straight to this home screen. We have all of our settings laid out in front of us. We can go to views. These are favorites that you can add to and save. They do have preset buttons over here too. There's our fishing chart over here. And right there is the Lake Master mapping. So that is another one of the really, really cool features of this new Explorer series, is that it comes preloaded with Lake Master mapping. And that is a massive plus, because as many of you know who have ran Humminbirds, that mapping is just, it's tough to beat. I mean, it's high def for whatever lake you want to go to. Vast majority of your local small lakes all the way up to big bodies of water are going to be covered on this mapping. So we're sitting right here on kind of a hump that comes out. Hopefully there's a few fish hanging around trying to survive this nasty winter we got going.
Yeah, much improved. Yep.
Okay guys, now I'm gonna make a couple casts. Bear with me because my line is freezing up really bad, so we might not be getting as much distance as normal, but you should be able to see how baits look comparatively screen to screen. So there's my bait falling right there. You can see a fish just beyond where I cast. I'll just reel that up really quick. And then you can go ahead and go to that Garmin, Brennan. I'll see if I can make that same cast real quick. There's my bait on the Garmin. Tried to get my first fish of 2025 knocked out here. There's my bait hopping out of the grass right there. Normally I'm not going to work a bait like this in 36-degree water temperatures, but we'll get some good imagery of what that looks like popping out of the grass. Oh, I'm gonna throw my jacket back on here a second or two. There's my bait going down again. I'm gonna show it compared to the Garmin again.
Good, man. It's real good. Well, give us some conclusion.
That was really good. Come on, Bessie.
Trevor?
Well, overall, I'm impressed. I mean, flat out, it is very, very, very similar to LVS 34. I mean, you're splitting hairs between the two, which is exactly what I think all Humminbird guys wanted, was latest, greatest technology from their brand. You know, I think so many of us get used to Humminbird, used to Garmin, and that's what we want to stick with. Well, now if you're a Humminbird guy, or we're a Humminbird guy, there it is. I mean, this is right up there with who is currently the big dog in forward-facing sonar technology. You have the Mega Live 2. I am struggling to see a huge difference between that and the LVS 34. And they did it without a black box. That's another really impressive thing from Humminbird is there is no black box for this transducer. It's transducer straight to the graph, and it's impressive. It really is. I'm excited for you guys to see this video. I'm excited to get back inside where it's warm. But overall, I'm happy we got out here, and I'm happy that we got to see this in person and share it with you guys, because you can only take someone's word for it so far until you actually see it out here right next to the competitor. And that speaks volumes to me that, man, these screens are nearly identical. It is impressive. So check out the video, guys. Excited for you to see the comparison for yourself, and we'll hopefully be getting out on the water again sometime soon. It looks like we got ice rolling in again, but as soon as we can get the boat back on the water, we'll be happy to take people out, show them the differences here. And also in the shop, we will have this unit. We'll have the Mega Live 2, so you can come check it out for yourself in person at the Tackle Shack in Middlebury, Indiana. These are for sale already, so we're taking pre-orders. The graphs and units and LiveScope units themselves should be shipping soon. So check it out, guys. It's exciting new technology. Humminbird Explorer and the Mega Live 2. Fish on.